Carrying the cake in my hands, I rushed home, practically buzzing with excitement. But when I opened the door, the only thing that greeted me was a cold, quiet apartment. "Where's Chloe?" I muttered to myself, scratching my head. Tonight was supposed to be special. Our anniversary. So why was the stove cold and the whole place empty? I pulled out my phone and called her. Her familiar ringtone chirped from somewhere close by, just outside. Curious, I turned toward the sound. That's when I saw them. Two figures walking side by side down the tree-lined street. I recognized the guy immediately. Ethan Cole. An older guy from Chloe's grad program. Now they both worked at the same biotech firm. Chloe glanced down at her phone, a faint frown creasing her forehead as she answered. "Leo, what's up?" "Where are you?" I asked. "On my way back." "Okay, when will you be home?" "Soon." With that, she hung up, not even bothering to ask where I was. I watched as she slipped her phone back into her pocket, tilted her head toward Ethan, and said something. Whatever it was made them both break into easy, familiar smiles, the kind I'd only ever seen between people who were deeply comfortable with each other. From where I stood, it was strange. They weren't touching, not crossing any obvious lines, but the energy between them. It felt like a couple in the honeymoon stage. Quietly, I shut the door and set the cake on the table. In the bedroom, I unpacked my suitcase, hanging my clothes in the closet. I had just finished when I heard the front door open again. Chloe bent down to take off her shoes. When she looked up and saw me, her face flickered with surprise. "Oh, you're back." "Yeah," I said, forcing a smile. "Sorry, something came up at work. I got back late. I'll start dinner now." She dropped her bag and headed straight to the kitchen. She hadn't forgotten. It was our anniversary. Making a special dinner was her tradition every year, no matter what. I leaned against the kitchen doorway, watching her move around the space. A loose strand of hair fell across her face, softening her in a way I loved. For a moment, she looked like the Chloe I'd always known. But when her eyes met mine, they were cool. The bright smile I had expected never came. Dinner was finally served. Chloe sat across from me, her expression unreadable, like I was just presenting her with some kind of trophy. I pulled out the custom-ordered cake and set it on the table. "Happy 7 years, honey," I said. She gave the cake a brief, indifferent glance, then picked up the knife. No candles, no wish, no excitement. Just a clean slice straight through the middle. Then came the small clink. The diamond ring I'd hidden inside tumbled onto her plate. I had imagined this moment 1,000 times. The surprise, the tears of joy, the laughter. But none of that happened. Chloe just stared at me, her face unreadable, her expression complicated. Silence fell between us. Heavy, suffocating silence. Even the air felt thick. This anniversary, the one where I had planned to propose after 7 years together, was already ruined. "Wrong timing, I guess," I said quietly, clearing my throat and forcing myself to break the tension. "Hey, what's wrong? Are you not happy?" Chloe's lips tightened. Her eyes flicked down to the ring on her plate. "I'm not unhappy. I just don't feel well today. Let's eat." I could tell something was wrong, but I didn't push. If she didn't want to talk, I wouldn't force her. Even in love, people need their space. We ate in silence. The cake sat untouched between us, the diamond ring still lying forlornly on her plate. The tension got to me. Usually, I was the calm one, but even I was getting agitated. This wasn't how an anniversary dinner should feel. Trying to salvage the night, I forced a light tone. "So, guess where my business trip was this time?" "Leo, let's break up." Her words cut sharper than any knife. Chloe set down her fork, her eyes locked firmly on mine. I froze. Staring back, I saw exhaustion, conflict, and an overwhelming resignation in her gaze. "What?" My voice cracked. I need an answer. Everything was fine before my trip." Chloe looked down, silent. "Can you at least give me a reason?" I asked, my chest tightening. "Is it because of Ethan?" At the mention of his name, her head snapped up. Her eyes flared with indignation. How could you even think that? Then what am I supposed to think? My voice was rising. You have to give me something. Why are you suddenly ending things? Calm down, she said, frowning, impatience written across her face. I'm tired, she whispered finally. I'm just so tired of being with you. That one sentence shut me down completely. It was the only reason I couldn't fight. If she felt tired, that was hers to feel. No argument could change it. I calmly put my fork down and went back to the bedroom. The suddenness of it all left me reeling, but I couldn't wrap my head around it. Why now? Why her? Of all people, Chloe was the last one I expected to give up on us. As I sat in silence, the door creaked open. Leo, can we talk? I turned, my face blank, meeting her gaze. She leaned against the doorframe, still beautiful, but when our eyes met, there was nothing left of love. Just calm detachment. There's nothing to talk about. I agree, she said softly. But, can you give me a few days? I need to find a place and pack. Her mouth opened like she wanted to add something, but in the end, she just closed it and gave a quiet nod. After she left, I pulled out my phone and opened Zillow. Started looking for apartments near my office. Adults don't get much time to grieve. Love isn't everything. I found a decent studio, scheduled a viewing with the landlord, and put the phone down. But sleep never came that night. Instead, my mind played a cruel highlight reel of the past 7 years. The next morning, I got up and mechanically made breakfast, for two. It wasn't until I plated the second dish that I realized what I'd done. Habit. Habit is terrifying. I looked at the food I'd made for Chloe, let out a bitter laugh, and scraped it into the trash. Then I sat down to eat my own. The door to the spare bedroom opened. Chloe stepped out, hair pulled back into a ponytail. "Honey, what's for breakfast today?" she asked cheerfully, almost like nothing had happened. I stayed silent. She looked up, saw the empty table, and then my expression. The reality hit her in that instant. We were broken up. "Oh, sorry, Leo. I'll just grab something on my way out." I didn't respond. Just kept chewing my toast. Awkwardly, she grabbed her purse and hurried out the door. When it clicked shut, a sharp pain shot through my chest. So this is how it ends. Two people who were once in love end up like this. Only like this. I pulled myself together and went to a print shop to print my resignation letter. Then I headed straight to the office. I had made up my mind last night. If Chloe and I were done, then there was no reason to stay in Seattle. I had built a life here for her. Not for me. My boss greeted me with a wide grin and ushered me into his office. "Leo, you killed it. I can't believe you landed that contract. Seriously, kid, name your reward." I smiled faintly and handed him the letter. "Just your signature on this, please." His grin vanished as he read it. "You're quitting? But you're doing great work. Why?" A pang of guilt hit me. The truth was, my decision was abrupt. Honestly, I was never passionate about sales. I only took the job to make good money. For a down payment for a wedding. His face twisted in confusion. "Then you definitely can't quit. Is it the commission? We can talk numbers. Or another department. I can arrange a transfer." I shook my head. "Sir, you're not getting it. I don't need to save for a house or a wedding anymore. I'm moving back home." Saying it out loud lifted a weight off me. Quitting had been something I'd agonized over, but now the choice felt clear. My boss looked disappointed, but he knew he couldn't stop me. If money and position no longer mattered, what else could he offer? He shook my hand warmly. "Well, if that's your decision, I won't stand in your way. I wish you the best of luck back home. Tonight, I'll organize a farewell dinner for you. Send you off right." I smiled, bowed slightly, and thanked him. I'd always gotten along well with everyone at the office. I'm an easygoing guy. I like to laugh, never got into office politics. In the 3 years I'd been there, my boss and coworkers had been nothing but good to me. A proper goodbye felt right. That evening, my boss took us to the Soundview Grand, one of the nicest hotels in the city. When the food arrived, he was the first to raise his glass. "All right, I know you all can't relax with me here, so I'll just say a few words and get out of your hair." Everyone laughed. We turned to him, waiting for the toast. But in that moment, I felt a pair of eyes burning into my back. I turned around. Chloe. She was staring at me, her gaze sharp and intense. She was sitting with Ethan and a few of their colleagues from the research firm. What a coincidence. I only held her gaze for a second before turning back to my boss. "Leo has been with the company for 3 years, and you've all seen what he can do," my boss said. "He's leaving for personal reasons, and I can't change his mind, but I want to thank him for his hard work and wish him all the best in the future." He drained his glass. I stood up, raised mine, and my colleagues followed suit. After the toast, I sat back down. But the stare from behind me hadn't let up. It felt even heavier now. Glancing over my shoulder again, I caught Chloe's eyes. They were filled with anger. I just shook my head and looked away. The rest of the dinner went great. I drank more than I should have. Afterward, I stumbled out of the hotel with my coworkers, leaning on each other, laughing, saying our goodbyes, wishing each other well. When the last one finally left, I noticed Chloe still standing by the entrance, watching me, waiting. And when she saw I was alone, she walked over. Her face was cold, unreadable. "You quit your job?" she demanded. I nodded calmly. "When are you going to grow up? It's just a breakup. You're throwing away your career over it." Her scolding tone rubbed me the wrong way. "Chloe, can you not talk to me like you're my mother? Who are you to me?" Her expression faltered. She had no reply. After a moment, her tone softened. "Leo, let me give you a ride home." I waved her off. "Don't worry about it. I got an Uber." Right on cue, my ride pulled up. I opened the door, got in without looking back at her, and went home. Back at the apartment, I locked myself in my room. The alcohol was amplifying everything, dragging every thought and memory to the surface. I spent the night replaying our 7 years together, the pain tearing through me again. I wanted to storm out there, demand answers, or maybe even beg her not to leave me. But I knew that was just the whiskey talking. I pulled the covers over my head and bit down on my hand to stop myself from making a sound. Never drinking again. It's too damn painful. A soft knock came at the door. "Leo." Chloe's voice was gentle. "I made you some soup. Do you want any?" "Get lost." I threw a pillow hard against the door. Her footsteps retreated. Chloe was proud. She wouldn't humiliate herself by asking again. I buried my face in my blankets and let the tears come. Just for tonight. Just for tonight, I didn't have to be a man. Just this once I could be weak. When I woke the next morning, my head was clear. The apartment was silent. Chloe must have already left for work. Good. Less awkward that way. I started packing my things. 3 years. This place was filled with memories. I picked up a photo frame from the TV stand. In the picture, Chloe and I were smiling brightly. Our first photo together. She'd insisted we take it our freshman year of college, right after she asked me out, and I said yes. I've always been a laid-back guy, kind of oblivious when it comes to romance. The first time I met Chloe was in the university library. She was cornered by 3 other girls, one of them grabbing her sleeve, accusing her of stealing money. I've always been the type to step in when I see something wrong, so I had to get involved. I'd actually seen one of the other girls take the wallet earlier, so I stepped between them, put Chloe behind me, and told them exactly what I saw. The librarian came over after hearing the commotion. He pulled up the security footage, and the truth turned out to be even more messed up. The 3 girls. They were Chloe's roommates. Jealous because she was beautiful, smart, and kept to herself. They'd set her up, tried to frame her so she'd get kicked out of the dorm, maybe even expelled. In the end, they were the ones who got written up. Chloe was moved to a different dorm. She was grateful that I'd spoken up. She asked for my number, said she wanted to buy me dinner. I told her it was no big deal, just forget it, and walked away. But after that day, I started seeing her everywhere. The library, lecture halls, the campus track. Every time, she'd just give me a polite nod and a small smile, never trying to force a conversation. After a while, I got used to it. Things changed at the department basketball game. Chloe showed up on the sidelines. It was our materials science team against chemical engineering. She was a physics major. Whispers and murmurs spread through the crowd as everyone tried to guess who she was there for. I didn't think twice. It couldn't be me. We barely knew each other. But after the game, when the final buzzer sounded, Chloe walked right up to me and handed me a bottle of water. The teasing from my teammates exploded. I froze, unsure if I should even take it, but she just stood there, stubborn, hand held steady. I had no choice but to accept it. "Thanks," I mumbled. She didn't say a word, just gave me one last look and walked away through the jeering crowd. In the locker room, my teammates pounced. "What's going on with you two?" I rolled my eyes. "Nothing. I helped her out once, and she's just saying thanks. Don't make it weird." They smirked, not buying it for a second. I thought it was a one-time thing. I was wrong. Chloe started showing up outside the men's dorm every morning, with breakfast. After a few days of this, I finally got it. She was pursuing me. A week into the breakfasts, I pulled her aside by the campus pond. I was going to set things straight. Tell her I only helped her because it was the right thing to do, not because I wanted her to feel indebted. But before I could speak, she looked straight into my eyes and said, "Leo, I like you." It was so direct, it knocked the wind out of me. Seeing me speechless, she pressed on. "Leo, don't say no yet. Just tell me, do you feel anything for me at all?" I thought for a second, then nodded. Of course I did. She was the beautiful, aloof girl everyone on campus talked about. Who wouldn't? When I nodded, she smiled. Chloe Evans. Cool, untouchable Chloe. Actually smiled. A real smile. It was autumn. Leaves drifting down all around us. Her smile cut through the melancholy of the season and lit everything up. In that moment, watching her face in the glow of the setting sun, I was gone. Completely gone. My heart pounded just from one look. For all 4 years of college, we were happy. Chloe didn't smile much, but with me, she was always laughing. She used to say my goofy, immature side was her joy. That always made me mad. "You're the goofy one," I'd argue. I smiled down at my freshman self in that photo. Then I took it out of the frame, tore my half off, and tossed it in the trash. It was over now. The memories were nice, but I couldn't live in them. I spent the whole afternoon erasing every trace of myself from the apartment. That night, I met up with my old college roommate at a local brewery. I've always loved the vibe there. You can talk loud, laugh your head off, and nobody tells you to quiet down. My buddy slid a beer across the table. He set the bottle down on the table and gave me a sly grin. "What's up, man? Did the Ice Queen finally let you off her leash?" I grabbed the beer from him. "We broke up," I said, trying to sound casual, though the words tasted like ash in my mouth. My eyes burned, and I blinked hard, pretending the grill smoke was the reason. "No way. You guys were together forever. I thought you two were inseparable. People get divorced when they're 80, not now." "It's not like we were glued together," I muttered, taking a long drink and clinking my bottle against his. "Let's not talk about it. Cheers." He bumped his bottle to mine, and we both drank. The rest of the night, we avoided Chloe's name, losing ourselves in old college stories. By the end, I was drunk again. Damn it. Yesterday I swore off drinking, and here I was already breaking that promise. Guess you really can't trust a drunk man's word. He helped me get home. Chloe opened the door, and the moment she saw me drunk again, her face went cold. Drunk yesterday, drunk again today. If you plan on keeping this up, don't bother coming back. My buddy just stood there, confused. Chloe, didn't you two break up?" She froze, then brushed him off, tugging me toward the bedroom. The rest of that night blurred, laughing, crying, a total mess of emotions. The next morning, the hangover hit like a hammer. My head pounded, my mouth was dry as sand. I staggered out of bed and went to the kitchen for water. On the dining table sat a steaming bowl of oatmeal with a note. "Leo, eat this when you get up." I crumpled the note and tossed it in the trash. After downing a glass of water, I went straight back to bed. I didn't touch the oatmeal. I couldn't understand this sudden act of concern. If we were breaking up, then we should just break clean. I told Chloe I needed a few days. Today was day 3. I had to be out by tomorrow. Every extra day I stayed only tangled things more, and it was making me sick. When Chloe got home that evening, she saw the cold oatmeal still on the table. Her expression was unreadable. I was sprawled on the sofa, reading a book, deliberately ignoring her. "Leo, how many times have I told you not to lie on the sofa like that? It looks sloppy." I put the book down and sat up. Her face softened slightly. But then I pulled a cigarette from my pocket, stuck it between my lips, and lit it. Her expression instantly darkened. "You quit. Why are you smoking again?" I gave her a cold smile. "What's it to you?" Then I lay back down, picked up my book again. Chloe just stood there stunned. I never would have guessed 4 little words could hit so hard. Finally, she gave a defeated nod. "You're right. It's not my place to say anything anymore. I was just trying to help." I blew out a cloud of smoke. "Don't. You're not my mother. Don't give me that 'I'm just trying to help' crap." She glared, but when she realized I wasn't going to argue, she turned on her heel and stormed into the guest room. Chloe was far too proud to handle being spoken to like that. On the 4th day after the breakup, I woke up feeling oddly light. I'd slept well, no obsessive thoughts haunting me. I stretched and walked out of my room, planning breakfast. "Leo, why did you tear up our picture?" Chloe's voice made me jump. She was suddenly standing right behind me. I clutched my chest. "Jesus, you can't sneak up on people like that." She ignored me, pressing on. "Do you hate me that much? You don't even want to leave a single memory behind?" What was she talking about? She was the one who ended it. What memories was I supposed to keep? Dragging things out was the worst. Unfair to whoever came next. Seeing my blank expression, Chloe bit back her anger. "Leo, we need to talk." I hadn't thought there was anything left to say. But if she wanted to talk, fine. We sat across from each other at the dining table. "Leo, I know you don't understand why I broke up with you," she began. "Think about it. In college, you were like the sun, so bright, so full of energy. But look at you now." She paused, her eyes full of disappointment. "Now you're polished. Cynical. Being with you is exhausting. Do you get that?" I listened quietly until she finished. Then I asked, "Are you done?" She looked surprised. "Yes." I stood, walked over to her, and slapped her across the face. "Chloe, I never realized you were so shameless." She held a hand to her cheek, shocked. In that moment, everything cleared. The fog lifted, and the love I'd carried for 7 years vanished completely. "Chloe, when we graduated, you were the one who said we needed to act more mature for the professional world. I used to live in jeans and hoodies, but I bought suits and dress shoes, styled my hair, dressed by your standards. You told me your director could criticize people without raising his voice. You said I should be more like that. Stop being so direct. Remember that time you called me from a work dinner? I was playing basketball with my friends. I rushed over in sweats. Do you remember the look you gave me? Disgust. When we got home, you yelled at me, told me never to show up in front of your colleagues again unless I was dressed properly. You said my friends were immature. Told me to stop hanging out with them. You hated me playing video games, smoking, reading comics. I gave up all of it. And now you say you miss the old me? Don't you think that's shameless? I became this person because of you. Because of what you wanted. Chloe, you're like a little girl with a doll. You're happy when you get it. Then when you're bored, you change its clothes to keep yourself entertained. And when even that isn't enough, you toss it in a corner. But I'm not a doll. Understand this. A person like you doesn't deserve to be loved." With that, I grabbed the suitcase I'd already packed and walked out of the apartment we'd shared for 3 years. I didn't look back once. No attachment, no regret. I went straight to the train station and boarded the first train home. Watching the scenery blur past the window felt like watching our relationship fade away. It had started so quickly, and now, looking back, it was already a blur. After I left, Chloe sat at the dining table for hours. My words echoed in her head. Had she really been that awful? She realized she had ignored my feelings, molding me into her perfect boyfriend. And I, because I loved her, had changed, giving her everything she wanted. But once I did, she got bored. Chloe sat motionless all night, thinking about everything I had done, every sacrifice I'd made. By dawn, she couldn't sit still. She rushed to my company, only to be told I had quit. Of course, she'd forgotten. Just a few days earlier, she'd yelled at me about it. "It's just a breakup. You're throwing away your career?" Now she wanted to find me, but she didn't even know where to look. She had never asked where I planned to go. Eventually, Chloe got sick. Lying in a hospital bed, she stared blankly at the white ceiling. Megan, an old dorm friend, happened to see her while at the hospital for a prenatal checkup. Megan's husband helped her to Chloe's bedside. "Chloe, what happened? Where's Leo?" At the sound of my name, Chloe's vacant eyes sharpened, sadness flooding them. Megan instantly understood. "Don't tell me you two broke up. We were all waiting for a wedding invitation." Chloe begged Megan to call me to ask me to come. She had already called me countless times that morning. I hadn't blocked her number, but I hadn't answered a single call. She was desperate. Megan sighed, then dialed my number. All of our dorm friends had been close to me. The call connected. My voice came through the phone. Megan tried some small talk before finally cutting to the point. "Leo, I don't know what's going on between you and Chloe, but she's sick. Can you come see her at the hospital?" Leo's reply was polite, but distant. "Megan, Chloe, and I broke up. Anything that happens to her has nothing to do with me. You and I are friends, but that doesn't mean she and I are. Please don't call me about her again." Chloe couldn't hold herself back. She snatched the phone. "Leo, please don't hang up. Can we just talk? Or at least tell me where you are, I'll come to you." The line went dead. He hadn't said a word. Megan couldn't hold back anymore. "Chloe, what on earth happened?" Overwhelmed, Chloe broke down, tearfully telling her friend everything. When she was done, Megan stood up, a cold smile on her face. "Wow. I never thought our sophisticated Chloe was such a drama queen. You really played yourself. This is where I get off. I'm not getting involved in this." She tugged her husband to leave. He gave Chloe an apologetic look, but Megan didn't slow. "Megan, please, help me figure something out," Chloe begged desperately, grasping at any straw she could find. Megan didn't stop until she reached the door. Then she turned back. "Chloe, you were the one who begged us to be your advisors, to help you win Leo. You wanted this relationship. You're the one who threw it away. Get over it. If you were so bored, then let the man go free. You're the kind of person who spends all her time changing others and never sees her own faults. You don't deserve to be happy." After Megan left, Chloe sank into deep despair. She knew exactly what she was like. Cold, proud, self-centered. Leo had put up with that for 7 years and had never once asked her to change. Did he like her that way? Yes and no. He had loved all of her, which meant he could appreciate her strengths and tolerate her flaws. And what about her? She had once been drawn to Leo's honesty and passion. But after entering the professional world, she'd been drawn to men who were serious, composed, mature. So she forced Leo to become one of them. And when he finally did, she decided she missed the old Leo. He was right, she wanted it both ways. But no one could be both mature and steady and also innocent and carefree. After she was discharged from the hospital, Chloe went back to work at the research firm. The moment Ethan Cole learned she was single, he asked her out. Chloe was shocked, not just by his confession, but by Leo's intuition. How had he known Ethan's feelings for her weren't just professional? She turned Ethan down. Yes, for a while she had been drawn to his composure and charm. But now her mind was filled with nothing but Leo. There was no room left for anyone else. Thinking back on her emotional wandering made her feel ashamed. She had enjoyed the attention, the ambiguity, the thrill of someone new. 7 years was a long time, and she'd gotten bored. That little rush of flirtation had been intoxicating. She never would have cheated physically, but the emotional affair had been real. In that moment, her pride and her icy demeanor shattered. She had to face how ugly her behavior had been. She wanted to apologize to Leo, but he wouldn't even give her the chance. Chloe fell apart. She used every connection she had to track down Leo's old college roommates. She had never liked them, thought they were childish, always smoking, drinking, playing video games. She used to call them a bad influence on Leo. But now she had to humble herself and beg them to tell her where Leo's hometown was. They only looked at her like she was a joke. Leo told us when he left not to give you any of his information. Chloe bowed, pleaded, begged them to take pity on her. But they didn't budge. Leo's our brother. We're not friends with you. Why would we betray our brother for a stranger? Chloe had no answer. Of course Leo was genuine, warm-hearted. His friends were just like him. Why would they help her? Even as she harassed them for the next 3 years, they never cracked. For 3 years, Chloe turned down every man who pursued her. Leo had become her obsession. She convinced herself that if she could just see him once more, they could clear things up. He would remember their 7 years together and forgive her. That belief kept her going. She refused every suitor, even as her parents grew anxious. "Mom, Dad, don't worry," she told them. "My boyfriend and I just had a fight. We'll get back together when he comes back." Her parents could only look at their daughter helplessly. But when is he coming back? Chloe would imagine Leo's return, imagine them getting back together. A small smile would appear on her lips. Some people said she'd lost her mind. Others said she would never move on. But she didn't care. She was certain Leo was just angry. If she could just coax him a little, everything would go back to how it was. But countless nights she tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Then news from Megan rekindled a dying flame of hope. Feeling sorry for her, and hoping to give her some closure, Megan told Chloe that Leo's old college class was having a reunion that weekend. A reliable source said Leo was going to be there. The moment she heard, Chloe trembled with excitement. 3 years. Leo had been gone for 3 long years, and she missed him to the point of sickness. Her health had never recovered. She was in and out of hospitals. She felt like she might actually die from it. The day before the reunion, she dressed carefully. Clean, simple, no makeup. Leo had never liked when she wore it. But after graduation, she wore a full face every single day, despite his preference. She found the white dress he had always loved, the one from college. Every time she wore it on a date, she'd catch his eyes lingering on her. But she hadn't worn it since graduation. It felt too pure, too innocent for the corporate world. She arrived at the hotel early and walked confidently into the private room booked for the reunion. Heads turned. The man who had been class president approached her. "Excuse me, miss. Are you?" He didn't even recognize her. "I'm Leo's girlfriend," she said. A murmur rippled through the room. Leo's old roommates smirked. "I heard Leo's married. Has a kid even. How's he got a girlfriend showing up now?" "I don't know. Maybe our info's wrong." But his roommates didn't bother correcting anyone. They just folded their arms and watched the scene unfold. At 9 o'clock, dinner began, but Leo still hadn't shown up. A crushing wave of disappointment hit Chloe. She kept her eyes glued to the door. Was he really not coming? She couldn't take it if he didn't. As for the rumors of him being married with a child, she filtered them out instantly. She refused to believe it. Leo had always said, "You have to completely get over the last person before you can be with someone new. Otherwise, it's not fair to them." If she hadn't moved on after 7 years, Then how could Leo, who had loved her so deeply, possibly have moved on? Still, his absence stung bitterly. She had been so sure this was the day they would reunite. But Chloe quickly pulled herself together. The time isn't right yet, she told herself. Just wait a little longer. Just as she was about to leave, the door swung open. A man in casual clothes walked in, holding a small child in his arms. Sorry, guys. Traffic was a nightmare. He handed the child to a woman standing just behind him and gave a small bow to his former classmates. One of Leo's old roommates immediately stood up and greeted him with a grin. Leo, man, we thought you'd gotten too important for us common folk. Leo hugged them warmly, his easy smile unchanged. After a round of greetings, his roommates nodded toward the woman behind him. Hey, Sarah. The woman smiled gently and nodded back. They had all been at Leo's wedding 2 years ago. They had gone to see him when his daughter was born a year ago. They knew everything, but they had never breathed a word of it to Chloe. Hey, Leo, one of his friends said, jerking his chin in Chloe's direction. You might want to handle this. This woman says she's your girlfriend. If you don't clear things up, you might be sleeping on the couch tonight. Following his friend's gaze, Leo finally noticed Chloe standing off to the side. Their eyes met. In his, Chloe saw only placid calm, as still as the surface of a lake. Leo's wife, Sarah, looked at Chloe with curiosity. After a moment, her gaze returned to her husband, and Chloe saw it, the quiet adoration, the deep affection in Sarah's eyes. A wave of humiliation rooted Chloe to the spot. She was the only one who hadn't moved on. Leo had married and started a family just a year after their breakup, and all this time she had foolishly believed he was still waiting for her. Chloe ran out of the room. Sarah followed quickly. Leo, still holding his daughter, came out too. Sarah caught up to Chloe and gave her a small, kind smile. I know who you are. My husband told me about you. You two should talk. She was a good person. She didn't want to see someone forever trapped in the past. Leo gently handed the baby to his wife, affectionately ruffling her hair before turning to follow Chloe. They walked out onto the street, one behind the other, silent for a long time. Finally, Chloe broke it. Have you been happy these past 3 years? Leo smiled. Yeah, I have. I got a job with the state not long after I moved back. I married Sarah 2 years ago, and we had Lily last year. Everything's good. Chloe's smile twisted bitter. And I'm just saying if I hadn't broken up with you then, would we have gotten married? Leo looked at her, surprised. The Chloe he remembered was proud, always wanting things her way. There are no ifs in life, Chloe. You just have to keep moving forward. He didn't answer her question. He only told her firmly, move on. Forward. Chloe broke down, tears spilling. But I can't move on. What do I do, Leo? Watching her cry, Leo's face was filled with weary resignation. There's no great tragedy of the one that got away, holding you back for a lifetime. You're just choosing not to move on, Chloe. Losing something isn't always a mistake, but it is always in the past. You have to let it go. No person, no memory is worth trapping yourself in one place forever. I have to get back to the party. Goodbye. He gave her a small wave and turned to leave. Watching his back retreat, Chloe felt a pain sharper than death. Then, suddenly, he stopped. A flicker of hope ignited in her chest. He turned around, a genuine smile on his face. Take care. That simple farewell felt like a release. This is it then. What else could it be? She didn't even have the right to call his name anymore. What a shame. All the words she had prepared, all the longing she had carried, would never be spoken. Leo was right. Losing something isn't always a mistake, but it is always in the past. Chloe watched his retreating figure and whispered to herself, You too. The past is gone. You can't chase it, and you can't drown in it. It's time to look forward.